This goddamn Joker guy, man. What? He's shooting like, they say in like the last 5 or 6 games, he's shooting like 77% from the field.
LeBron James just called Nikola Jokic the most dominant, complete player he's ever faced. And we're not talking about some random role player here. We're talking about LeBron looking at Jokic and putting him above Kevin Durant, above Steph Curry, above Kobe Bryant, above everyone. On November 28, 2025, LeBron sat down with Steve Nash for their Mind the Game podcast, and he made a statement that genuinely shocked people. After 20 years of facing literally every elite player in this league, the man who's seen it all looked at what Jokic is doing this season and basically said, yeah, I've never seen anything like this. And when you actually dig into the numbers Jokic is putting up right now, you start to get why even LeBron sounds amazed. Let me give you some context here. This wasn't some throwaway comment or soundbite taken out of context. This was an entire segment on the Mind the Game podcast where LeBron and Steve Nash really broke down what they're seeing from Jokic. The episode dropped as their Thanksgiving special, and buried in there was this conversation that honestly revealed just how much respect LeBron has for what he's watching. It started when LeBron brought up a conversation he'd had with his former teammate Jared Dudley about the Joker and his dominance. Steve Nash, being the sharp basketball mind he is, went straight at it and asked, is he the best offensive player you've ever played against? LeBron didn't even hesitate.
This goddamn Joker guy, man. What? He's shooting like, they say in like the last 5 or 6 games, he's shooting like 77% from the field.
Yeah, I mean, this season in 3 weeks, I think he's at 67% from the field.
My.
But here's the thing. Even the actual numbers are absolutely insane. We'll break those down in just a second. But LeBron wasn't done. He said,
yeah, it's a lot. I will say this, there has not been a more dominant, complete player that I've played against in a sense of all the attributes that you just mentioned, from the passing to the shooting to the rebounding to the attention.
Think about that for a second. LeBron James, who has gone to war with prime Kobe, prime Duncan, prime KD, prime Curry, just said Jokic is the most dominant and complete player he's ever faced, and he kept going. There's nothing he cannot do on the offensive end, nothing at all. He hammered this point home multiple times during the conversation. This is not like one of those guys back in the day, all dunks or all layups. This is everything, from the passing to the shooting to the rebounding to the attention. It's a lot. Then LeBron broke down the nightmare scenario of actually trying to guard this guy.
You know, you try to double him, he gonna make you pay. You try to play him single coverage, he's gonna make you pay. Sometimes he even brings the ball up the floor. They outlet the ball to him.
You try to double him, he's gonna make you pay. You play him single coverage, he's gonna make you pay. It's literally pick your poison, except both choices kill you. And maybe the most telling comment? This one.
But guys that a point guard will rebound the ball and outlet it to their center to push the break.
Right, you're right. Yeah.
That's weird. In a sense, that's already weird. Like, that lets you know how.
LeBron was pointing out how Jokic has completely flipped traditional basketball on its head. When your center is running your fast break and your point guard is trailing behind, you know something special is happening. His final take?
It's like, it's just normal. Like it's normal. This shit is not normal. It's not normal what he's doing, guys. I'm sorry.
Nash jumped in too, saying that Jokic is making a joke of the best in the world and has mastered the puzzle of offense. And coming from a 2-time MVP and one of the greatest point guards to ever play, that's not nothing. All right, so what exactly is Jokic doing that has LeBron sounding like he's witnessing basketball from another planet? Let's get into the numbers. Through 17 games of the 2025-26 season, Jokic is averaging 29.6 points, 12.8 rebounds, and 11.1 assists. He's leading the entire NBA, the entire league, in both rebounds and assists while ranking 6th in scoring.
Oh my God.
When you think about the totality of what he does, the pressure he puts on the defense, the assists, the playmaking, the initiating the offense, the threes, the mid-range, the putting people in the basket.
Let that sink in for a second. No center in NBA history has ever led the league in both boards and dimes while being a top 10 scorer. His field goal percentage is sitting at 62.6% overall, but here's where things get absolutely wild. Jokic is shooting 70% on two-point attempts. 70%. That's the highest mark since Wilt Chamberlain shot 68%, all the way back in 1966 to 67. We're talking about approaching records that are almost 60 years old. That all three levels thing LeBron mentioned? Completely legit. Jokic is shooting 90% at the rim, up from his already great 72% career average. In that floater range, he's at 68%, up from 58%. Mid-range jumpers? 63%, up from 50% for his career. And he's knocking down threes at 43.4% on career high volume. His game score average of 31.8 through these 17 games is literally the highest on record. He's breaking his own record for dominance from last season when he posted a 30.5. The man is breaking his own records. Now about that 77% number LeBron threw out there, yeah, the season average is lower, but even 62.6% from the field, with the volume and difficulty of shots Jokic takes, that's ridiculous. And during that hot streak in November, he genuinely was approaching that 77%. The bigger point stands, we've never seen a player this size shoot this efficiently from literally everywhere on the floor. This historic current season didn't just appear out of thin air. Jokic's 2024-25 campaign set the stage for what we're watching right now. Last season, Jokic became only the third player in NBA history to average a triple-double for an entire season. He joined Oscar Robertson and Russell Westbrook in that exclusive club, averaging 29.6 points, 12.7 rebounds, and 10.2 assists over 70 games. But the individual performances from last season, those were genuinely unprecedented. On April 1st, 2025, Jokic went for 61 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists against Minnesota. That's the highest scoring triple-double ever recorded in NBA history. The previous record wasn't even close. 5 weeks before that, on March 7th, 2025, he put up 31 points, 21 rebounds, and 22 assists against Phoenix. That was the only 30-20-20 game in league history. Nobody's ever done it before. Nobody's done it since. And despite these historic performances, Jokic still finished second in MVP voting to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander by just 126 points. The final count was 953 to 827, one of the closest MVP races we've ever seen. The Nuggets went 50-32 and lost in the second round to Oklahoma City, which actually led to Coach Michael Malone leaving. But let's zoom out even more.
There's nothing he cannot do on the offensive end, like nothing at all. Nothing.
Jokic has 3 MVP awards now, 2021, 2022, and 2024. That ties him for 9th all-time in MVP awards. He's one of only 11 players in NBA history to win multiple MVPs and an NBA championship. That championship came in 2023, and it was one of the most dominant playoff runs we've ever witnessed. Jokic led every single player in the playoffs in total points with 600, total rebounds with 269, and total assists with 186. He's the first and only player ever to lead all 3 categories in a single playoff run. The Nuggets went 16-4 on their way to the title. In the finals against Miami, Jokic averaged 30.2 points, 14 boards, and 2 assists on 58% shooting. In Game 3, he posted the first ever 30-20-10 triple-double in finals history with a 30-2-20-110 performance. He won Finals MVP, which makes him the lowest drafted player ever to win both MVP and Finals MVP. Because here's the wild part of Jokic's story. He was picked 41st overall in the 2014 draft. He was famously selected during a Taco Bell commercial break. 41st pick. And now he's the most dominant player in basketball. He's got 195 career triple-doubles now, which puts him 3rd all-time behind Russell Westbrook and Oscar Robertson. 5 All-NBA first teams. 7 straight All-Star appearances from 2019 to 2025. So what exactly makes Jokic so impossible to defend? Why is LeBron, a basketball genius who's literally seen everything over 20 years, saying he's never faced anyone like this? It starts with something no center in history has ever done: pass like an elite point guard. Jokic averages 7.3 assists per game for his career, the second highest assist average by a center in NBA history. That belongs to Wilt Chamberlain at 4.4 per game. This season, Jokic is averaging 11.1 assists. Those are Chris Paul numbers. Those are Steve Nash numbers. Not numbers you expect from a 6'11", 284-pound center. Nuggets assistant coach David Adelman nailed it. He has the mind of all 5 positions. When he catches the ball, he already knows how the defense is rotating. When you have that kind of feel, which is basically like an all-star point guard's feel, but you're a 7-foot center, it's incredible. His passing is genuinely insane. Kickouts, no-look assists, one-handed slingshots through traffic, 75-foot touchdown passes off rebounds. That last one is what LeBron was talking about when he mentioned the point guard rebounding and outletting to the center to push the break. Jokic grabs the board and immediately becomes the point guard, leading the fast break himself while smaller, faster guys are trailing behind him. This creates that defensive nightmare LeBron described. If you double-team Jokic, his court vision immediately finds the open man. He'll destroy you with perfect passes that lead to wide-open threes or easy layups. But if you play him straight-up single coverage, his 284-pound frame combined with elite footwork lets him score from anywhere. His signature Sombor shuffle fadeaway is basically unguardable. Like LeBron said, you try to double him, he's going to make you pay. You try to play him single coverage, he's going to make you pay. There's no right answer. It's a riddle with no solution. And LeBron's not just talking theory here. He knows exactly how impossible Jokic is to stop because he's been on the wrong end of it over and over again. The head-to-head record tells you everything. Jokic leads their all-time matchup 20-17 overall and 9-5 in playoff games. The Nuggets have won 11 straight games against the Lakers going back to December 2022. That's not a fluke. That's a pattern of complete domination. The 2023 Western Conference Finals was brutal for LeBron's Lakers. The Nuggets swept them 4-0, and Jokic orchestrated the whole thing. He averaged 27.8 points, 14.5 rebounds, and 11.8 assists with 3 triple-doubles in 4 games. During that series, he actually broke Wilt Chamberlain's all-time playoff triple-double record. In that closeout Game 4, LeBron dropped 40 points trying desperately to extend the series. Jokic answered with 30 points, 14 rebounds, and 13 assists to finish the sweep. It wasn't even close. In their most recent meeting on November 23, 2025, Denver won 127-102. Jokic put up 34 points, 13 rebounds, and 8 assists, while LeBron had 18 points, 6 boards, and 7 assists. The gap in their performances was pretty stark. This context makes LeBron's podcast comments hit different. He's not giving some abstract analysis here. He's speaking from the painful personal experience of being unable to solve the Jokic puzzle despite all his basketball IQ and 2 decades of elite-level experience. Where does Jokic actually rank among the all-time great centers? When you compare him to the legends, you realize just how unique he really is. Shaq dominated through pure, overwhelming force, but he never averaged more than 4 assists per game in his entire career. Kareem's skyhook was unstoppable, sure, but Jokic already beats Kareem's per-game assist average through 8 seasons, 6.6 for Jokic versus 4.4 for Kareem. Hakeem was an elite shot blocker and defender, but Jokic makes up for it with anticipation and basketball IQ instead of pure athleticism. His 17-inch vertical actually tested as the lowest among over 1,000 NBA players evaluated, and he's still this dominant. Former NBA coach Stan Van Gundy went all the way with his take. Jokic might be the best player in the history of the NBA. If I had to take one guy in history right now, not just today, I'm taking Jokic. Analysts at Fansided put it this way: no one shapes the game the way that he does. For all Kareem's scoring, for all of Shaq's dunking, for all of Hakeem's dream shakes, no one mastered every level and dynamic of the game offensively like Jokic. The consensus is building. We've never seen a center like this, ever. Now look, to be fair, Jokic isn't perfect. The most consistent criticism is about his defense. His slower foot speed creates problems in pick-and-roll defense. He's not an elite rim protector like Joel Embiid or Giannis. The Ringer pointed out he's so clearly the reason the Nuggets have the best record, and also the exact source of so many of their defensive issues. The Jokic versus Giannis debate keeps going in MVP discussions. Danny Green argued back in 2024, Giannis is dominating. He's playing MVP caliber. I'm leaving Jokic out. Paul Pierce fired back that leaving out a 3-time MVP in 4 years is no debate, but Jokic's defensive improvement has been real. Draymond Green gave him credit. He literally willed himself to become better on defense. He knew that if they wanted to win at a high level and become a champion, he couldn't be a liability. And the results back it up. Denver currently leads the NBA in offensive rating at 124.8 and points per game at 124.2. They're sitting second in the Western Conference with a record between 13-4 and 14-5, despite injuries to Aaron Gordon and Christian Braun. The current MVP race has Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as the betting favorite at plus 170 odds, with Jokic right behind at plus 200. ESPN analyst Zach Cram called this the 4 best statistical starts to a season in over 40 years of tracked data, talking about SGA, Jokic, Luka, and Giannis. The Thunder's 17-1 record gives SGA the edge, but Jokic's individual numbers are still historic. So here's where we land. LeBron James, who has faced every dominant player of the past 2 decades, just called Nikola Jokic the most dominant, complete player he's ever played against. And this isn't some casual podcast talk or hot take for clicks. This is a measured assessment from someone who has battled prime Kobe, prime Duncan, prime Curry, and prime KD. The statement hits even harder when you look at their playoff history, where Jokic has dominated LeBron's teams 9-5 in the postseason, including that championship run that featured the 4-0 sweep of the Lakers in the 2023 Western Conference Finals. What backs up LeBron's claim is the actual statistical evidence. No center has ever combined elite passing at over 11 assists per game, efficient 3-level scoring at 70% on 2-pointers, and dominant rebounding while leading the entire league. Jokic's basketball IQ, that ability to see plays developing before they actually happen, creates a defensive puzzle that even LeBron admits he's never seen before. The 41st pick, who was drafted during a Taco Bell commercial, has turned into something we've genuinely never seen. A true point center who controls every single aspect of offense while carrying his team to championships. Whether he wins a 4th MVP this season is up in the air, with Shai's Thunder dominating, but LeBron's assessment might actually matter more than any individual award. Because when the greatest player of his generation looks at Nikola Jokic and says it's not normal what he's doing, when LeBron admits he's never faced anyone like this in 20 years, we need to pay attention. We're watching something we've never seen before.